Good morning, learners. So far, the lesson Love Across the Salt Desert is concerned. We have already delivered a lecture on it, and in the preceding lecture, we came across the introduction of the lesson. We have understood the summary of the lesson. Today, we will be looking at the theme of the lesson and certain important characters. Dear friends, let us try to understand first the theme of the lesson. As I had made it clear that everything is fair in love and war is a famous proverb, and the lesson runs around this particular phrase. The theme of the Love Across the Salt Desert is that true love does know no boundaries. The true love doesn't have any boundary, it is beyond boundaries. It transcends everything that comes on its way. It transcends international boundaries in the lesson. It transcends, you know, each and everything that comes across in the lesson. There may be many obstacles and problems in the way of true lovers, but their love wins the day after all. And we understand that true lovers emerge as the winners. They emerge triumphant. Najib, an Indian boy, falls in love at the first sight with a beautiful Pakistani girl named Fatima. She is engaged to be married to another man called Mahfouz Ali. Now, Fatima is engaged a uh, with a with a man that is called Mahfouz Ali, and she was not interested at all with Mahfouz Ali. She does not want to marry him. She gets ready to elope with Najib to India. They have to face a lot of hazards. They have to face the guns of Pakistani Rangers, but they succeeded in their mission. Thus, the story clearly shows that true love does not yield to any pressure, and it is above everything. While crossing the border, they were chased by Pakistani Rangers, and on the borderline, lot of bullets were fired on them, but they succeeded. Luckily, this was considered to be miraculously, escape. They escaped. And what happens? True love does not yield to any pressure, and it is above everything. We find it in the lesson. This is, the first point where you understand the theme of the lesson. There can be one more theme of it. This story also presents the gory truth of the developments in no man's land near international borders. No man's land is simply, the place where there is no forces personnel from either the sides. you know uh, Forces are there deployed in order to save their country. From Pakistani side is there are rangers, and from Indian side there are border security forces. That is considered to be, the area which is the line of control is considered to be no man's land. This story also presents the gory truth of the developments in no man's land near international borders. The message conveyed through the story is that there are enemies of nations who do illegal trade and trespass the borders while smuggling toxins, banned drugs, tranquilizers, false currency, thus indulging in destroying the innocent lives of people. From either the sides, we find smugglers always there. There are, illicit elements that are coming across the borders, and they are involved in number of illegal, practices. They illegally trespass the borders. They are smuggling toxins. In the lesson, we find, they are involved in purchasing tender leaves, etc. They are, involved in banned drugs. They are also involved in tranquilizers and false currency, etc. And they are, in fact, what are they doing? They are trying to destroy the innocent lives of the people from either sides. In this story, Najab, a young man from India, in Peronia, trespasses the border while following his father and fellow villagers' illegal acts, and crosses over the border with mixed intentions and luckily comes back alive. Now Najab has a number of things in his mind because he is, you know, following his father's normally, his intentions, that is to involve oneself in illegal, practices. But during the lost travel to Pakistan, he has just one intention, that is to, get his beloved back, and he got success in getting her. And he was lucky that he escaped, from both the sides. On the borders, when he was fired upon, he escaped and luckily returns back to his home. Okay, that is, another theme. Therefore, there are two themes. One is the illegal, practices are going on the borders without the permission of, both the sides. Illicit elements are always there. And another is love emerges as triumphant. When there are true lovers, they transcend each and everything that comes on their way. They're transcending, in fact, the borders, international borders. Okay, students, let us try to understand now another important issue, that is character sketch of Najib. Najib can be, the protagonist in the story, the main character. Najib is displayed on your screen. Let us try to understand. Najib is a young man, handsome, diffident, and notorious among his friends for blushing at a mere mention of a girl, miles away from displaying an any act of bravado. Now, friends, try to understand, what type of character you have Najib and how he emerges to be a hero. He even crosses the international borders, 3 or 4 times. And the last time he eloped with a girl, Fatima, from Pakistan, and he gets success in, taking her to Indian side, to his home. Okay, now see, what happens. There are sometimes people who are looking very innocent, but they emerge to be something else. Najib is a young man, handsome, diffident, a very shy person, and notorious. And why he is notorious among his friends? Whenever you are, mentioning just the name of a girl, you will find he is blushing. He is shy to that extent. One cannot understand when somebody mentions the name of a girl and the Najib starts blushing, how it is possible that he will cross the international borders and, you know and get success in getting his beloved back. miles away for displaying any act of bravado. Nobody understands that he will act as a brave. He is considered to be, a very brave person. He is diffident to that extent. He is notorious because of diffidence. What happens? He is notorious among all his friends. Najib's father also does not have a very good opinion about his son. Now, Najib's father doesn't have, good opinion. Now you have to understand what he says. See these lines, very interesting lines. All that my ancestors, this is Najib's father, all that my ancestors and I have acquired during 100 years, this lad will squander away. Not because he is a spendthrift, but he will be too shy to charge money for what he sells. Now, very interesting to understand. All that my ancestors, Najib's ancestors, his father says that all my ancestors during his entire dynasty, and I have acquired during the 100 years, legally or illegally, what they have acquired, what they have earned. This lad Najib will squander away, will waste away. Not because he is a spendthrift. It's not because that you can consider him a spendthrift. Spendthrift, fazul kharch. You will understand that perhaps he is a spendthrift, but he will be too shy to charge money for what he sells. He is, diffident to that extent that he will be too shy, very shy, to charge money for what he sells. Whatever he sells, he will be too shy to charge money. That is his father's statement. Very interesting statement. And here you understand what type of character Najib is and how he turns out to be the hero in the lesson. How he is able to cross the borders. Najib proves all his critics wrong. That's why he proves all his critics wrong. He turns out to be a fit hero for a romantic movie. Right? He proves to be very daring and brave. And in the lesson, we understand that he is very daring and brave. He does not care for his safety in order to be able to meet his beloved. And that too in Pakistan, that too across the borders. He turns out to be confident and courageous. We find he is a very courageous person and confident person. He faces all odds but does not give up hope. And ultimately he is successful in his mission. He wins his love. That's what happens, in this lesson. Najib keeps his word. He gives a promise to Fatima that he would come back. During his third trip, he gives a promise to Fatima that he will return back to Pakistan. Fatima also encourages him, as she does not want to marry Mahfouz Ali, as you know. She was not, interested in Mahfouz Ali. Because why? Mahfouz Ali has number of problems. He is involved in slurred speech. And all the children are making fun of Mahfouz Ali. Therefore, Fatima is not interested at all. Najib shares his plan of elopement with his mother. Now, a person who is considered to be very shy, Najib, shares his plan of elopement with his mother. He does not lose heart. He manages to stage the drama of business across the borders, illegal business, and elope despite all the dangers. Despite all the dangers from either sides, he got success. He eloped with the girl. He truly acts on the proverb, only the brave deserves the fair. And that's very interesting to understand. He truly acts on the proverb, only the brave deserves the fair. It's only the brave who become successful, who emerge as the winners. Najib is a true hero. He falls in love with Fatima. It is love at first sight. That is, that often happens. Fatima responds to his love. She remains faithful to him. Finally, he marries her and brings her home. Finally, he marries her and brings her home. And when they reached home, that's considered to be very good omen, because what happens? 3 decade drought ends. Okay, now dear students, let us try to understand one more character, what is called character sketch of Fatima. Fatima is a Pakistani girl. She is the daughter of Kalesha, a clue seller and a smuggler. She is the daughter of a Kalesha, a clue seller and a smuggler. She smells of clues and cinnamon. Now, this is very interesting to note. Her character, how she is, described in the text. She smells of clues and cinnamon. Laughs with the timbre of ankle bells. Laughs with the timbre of ankle bells. Her eyebrows are like black wisps of the night, and her hair is night itself. Now, this is, Fatima that is displayed in the text. Now, you can understand, how the writer Darumwala has described her character, and that is very interesting to note. She smells of clues and cinnamon, laughs with the timbre of ankle bells. Her eyebrows are like black wisps of the night, and her hair is night itself. That's why, this Najab is caught in that net, right? She's beautiful to that extent. Fatima is a beautiful like a hoor with the dazzling eyes. She is considered to be hoor with the dazzling eyes. If you talk of the word who, that you can only think of, you can perceive of, but it's very difficult to have a hoor. You are unable to see a hoor, but you can only think of. She is beautiful to that extent with dazzling eyes. The eyes are very charming. She is taken in by Najab. That's why she is taken in by Najab, the quiet and pleasant young man, so ready with his smiles. Otherwise, Najab is considered to be a very reserved person. But at the same time, as the text tells you, a pleasant young man, so ready with his smiles. Fatima is under pressure to get engaged to Mahfuz Ali, who is related to her from her mother's family. Right? Fatima is under pressure to get engaged to Mahfuz Ali, who is related to her from her mother's family. He is known in the village for his slurred speech and grotesque stammer. Grotesque, strange stammer. He sometimes what happens? Children are making fun of Mahfuz Ali. He is, he is stammering to that extent. Then Fatima understands. What she understands? Just my luck run into mutes. Mutes is considered to be Najab. Just my luck. She is happy that her luck to run into mutes. She is somehow involved with Najab. That's what she says. And she laughs within. Fatima entices and dares Najab, and he flings his arms around her. And that's why, when she entices and dares Najab, that he is able to fling his arms around her. As she elopes with Najab, she does not care for the village and the country she is living for good. She kept each and everything backwards. She moves on. Otherwise, she is not leaving only the village, she is leaving the country itself. For her, it means just a shift in dialect. She hardly worries. For her, what it means? It simply means just a shift in dialect. In Pakistan there is one dialect, and when she comes to Indian side there is some other dialect. She understands it is perhaps just a shift in dialect. That's why she elopes with the person Najab. Fatima is not only beautiful but also faithful. She responds to Najab's love and marries him. She responds Najab's love and marries him. Before her coming, the drought in Kutch has lasted for 3 successive years. Kutch is, across the border, the area, somewhere in Gujarat. The drought in Kutch has lasted for 3 successive years. For last 3 successive years, what happens? You won't have any, rainfall or anything, etc. The drought is, all the area is engulfed with drought. Fatima comes to the village, proves auspicious. When she returns to the Anian side with Najab, she is considered to be auspicious, or you can say she is considered to be the sign of good. The night she reaches Najab's village, what happened? It starts raining and the drought comes to an end. It starts raining, the drought comes to an end. Now you can understand, she is considered to be the good omen, a good sign when she reaches Anian side. Okay, dear students, I am leaving you here. We'll meet you in the another class, in the another lecture. Till then, goodbye, take care.